There are moments in history that mark the triumph of human intellect, and then there are moments that leave behind shadows no one can explain. On July 20th, 1969, the world held its breath. Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon, turning a dream of millennia into reality. It was mankind's greatest leap forward, but ever since that sacred moment, something strange has lingered in its wake. Illness, depression, tragedy, isolation. Many of the astronauts who walked on the moon never truly returned, not in spirit. Some vanished from public life. Others faced unexplained misfortunes, and some whispered of visions of things they were never supposed to see. Was it the weight of history, the burden of greatness, or could stepping onto another world come with a hidden cost? Could there be a curse tied to the moon itself? In today's story, we journey beyond the headlines and into the shadows, into the secrets buried not in space, but in the hearts of those who touched it. So fasten your seat belt. This might change the way you look at the moon forever. And remember, you just might find incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. At exactly 4:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, July 20th, 1969, the lunar module Eagle touched down on the Sea of Tranquility, nearly 380,000 kilometers from Earth. 6.5 hours later at 10:51 p.m., Neil Armstrong began his descent, slow, measured, silent. It took him 4 full minutes to move down that ladder, and then he stepped onto the moon. One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind. 20 minutes later, Buzz Aldrin followed. The two men skipped like children, touched ancient dust no human had ever seen. They laughed, they hopped, they embraced the impossible. But something changed in Armstrong after that. When he returned to Earth, the hero of humanity withdrew. He turned down interviews, avoided crowds. Eventually, he left NASA altogether. Armstrong moved back to Ohio. He bought a small farm, and he lived in near-complete silence. Rumors spread. Some said he saw something on the moon that shattered his worldview. Others believed he had climbed too high, and nothing on Earth could ever match it. But Armstrong wasn't the only one. Other moonwalkers also began to fall, one by one. What happened to the moonwalkers after they came home? Not parades, not peace, but a slow unraveling. Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, fell into deep depression. He battled alcoholism, lost his marriage. He later said the hardest part wasn't going to the moon, it was coming back. Pete Conrad from Apollo 12 survived the journey, only to die in a motorcycle crash, on a clear, straight road. No other cars, just sudden tragedy. Alan Shepard of Apollo 14 died of leukemia. Edgar Mitchell began speaking of UFOs. He claimed peaceful aliens had saved us from nuclear war. To some, he sounded insane. To others, he sounded like a man who had seen too much. James Irwin had a heart attack on the moon, and later spent his life searching for Noah's Ark. He died young, another heart attack, still seeking something sacred. Still running from something no one could name. Even success couldn't save them. The Apollo 15 crew tried to smuggle 400 postal covers to sell. Their careers ended in disgrace. 12 men walked on the moon. Almost none of them lived normal lives after. Loss, illness, obsession, isolation. It makes you wonder, was there more to that mission than just dust and rocks? Before the moon landing ever happened, NASA had already imagined the worst. Not just mission failure, but drifting corpses, frozen in space, skeletons abandoned on the moon. No rescue, no return, just eternal silence. President Kennedy's advisors, like Jerome Wiesner, warned against it. They painted dark scenarios, dead men lost in orbit, lunar landings ending in fire and vacuum. And yet, Kennedy made a choice. On September 12, 1962, he stood before a crowd at Rice University and said, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard." The world applauded, but the risks remained. On January 27, 1967, those fears became reality. During a ground test, Apollo 1 caught fire, inside a pressurized oxygen-filled capsule. 3 astronauts, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, died in less than 20 seconds, suffocated, burned on the launch pad. The nation was devastated. NASA was shaken. The dream nearly died, but something else happened too. A quiet fear crept in, one no one dared to speak aloud. What if we weren't just risking lives, but bringing something back? Becoming the first man on the moon was never just about skill. It was about symbolism and character. Buzz Aldrin believed it would be him. He was the lunar module pilot. Tradition said he should be the first to exit. But NASA changed the rules. They chose someone calm, quiet, humble, someone who didn't seek the spotlight but could carry it without being consumed. Neil Armstrong. He never lobbied. He never argued. He just worked. In training, Armstrong faced death. On May 6, 1968, during a test flight, the lunar landing trainer malfunctioned, 30 meters in the air. Armstrong ejected just in time. Half a second slower, he would have died. His response, "Yes, I almost died." Nothing more. That calm under pressure sealed the decision. Christopher Kraft, head of mission control, later said, "If Neil Armstrong wasn't first, then no one should have been." He became the symbol. Not of ambition, but of service, of composure, of humanity's quiet courage. After the moon, Armstrong became a hero, the face of a generation, but behind that fame was something heavy, something no metal could lift. He was honored around the world, parades, awards, dinners with kings and presidents. But Armstrong hated it, the cameras, the questions, the endless spotlight. He left NASA in 1971, only 2 years after the mission, moved back to Ohio, bought a farm, tried to disappear, but the world wouldn't let him. People showed up at his home. Students followed him on campus. Strangers begged for autographs. Then came the betrayal. Someone sold clippings from his haircut for $3,000. Another sold his hair strand by strand on postcards. Armstrong was furious. He stopped signing anything. He stopped engaging with fans, and then his marriage ended. After 3 decades, his wife left. A single note on the table. "Let's get a divorce." He had walked on the moon, but he couldn't hold onto his own home. In one rare interview, Armstrong confessed his greatest regret wasn't what he did, but what he missed. Time with his children, moments as a husband. A life that fame had taken. Not every scar can be seen. Some remain silent, buried deep like footprints on lunar dust. 12 men walked on the moon. Not all of them returned the same. Buzz Aldrin battled depression. He turned to alcohol. His marriage fell apart. Pete Conrad died in a motorcycle crash. The road was straight. The weather was clear. There was no one else around. Alan Shepard died of leukemia. James Irwin had a heart attack on the moon. He spent the rest of his life searching for Noah's Ark. He died from another heart attack. Edgar Mitchell claimed he had seen UFOs. He believed peaceful aliens had prevented a nuclear war. He said he wasn't guessing. He was sure. David Scott and Alfred Worden from Apollo 15 were caught in a scandal. They brought unauthorized postal covers to space. Their careers ended early. Even Neil Armstrong could not escape. Someone stole and sold his hair. He got divorced. He stopped signing autographs. He withdrew from the world. He died in 2012 after heart surgery. Too many stories, too many tragedies, too many to ignore. Was it just coincidence, or did something follow them back? Maybe the moon is not just a rock in the sky. Maybe it's a boundary. A gate between what we know and what we fear. When they stepped on it, something changed. And maybe that change could never be undone. K letter 1 EBFT thuck. Cow H letter 1 ECF. Icon B letter 1 ECF. NG letter 1 ECF. We call it our greatest achievement. But what if it was also our first warning? The moon gave us pride, but it also gave us silence. A silence that never left the ones who touched it. So the question remains, what did we really bring home? Do you believe the moon holds a secret that changed these men forever? Or was it humanity itself that wasn't ready for the truth? Share your thoughts or personal theory in the comments. Every mystery starts with a question. And you're not alone in asking it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video.